YouTube, Simple and Simple Cross, coming to you with a brand new video. Since my collection videos have been doing really good, I thought I'd do another one. This one more about a collection that I've shown off before, of course, several times, but I've never actually gone over it. And this collection is more of my horror collection. Me personally, I think I have one of the best horror collections out there. Sorry, I'm gonna boast. I love my horror collection. I love what I've done with it, with the amount of room I have, because I don't have a whole lot of room, as you all see. But as I just knocked out one of my figures, it's okay. She'll live again. Anyways, I love my horror collection. I love what I've done with it. I love the figures that I've picked. I didn't do what a lot of collectors do when it comes to the horror action figures, is basically buy the same figure of Jason, Freddy, this character, that character. It's too much. At least in my eyes. Have I done it before? Yes. Hellboy, The Crow, Beetlejuice, yes. I've done it before, Deadpool. But for some reason, horror movies, I want one version. Now, there are a couple of collections that I would love to add to, which, Neca, I'm talking to you. I want my Hellraiser collection back. Because the originals are too high priced on a secondary market. So, give me the rest of the Hellraisers, the Cenobites, please. That would be nice. But let me turn the camera around and I'll go over a lot of the figures and basically why I chose those. Now, yes, I have done a lot of videos, especially about my Universal Monster collection, which ranges from the originals all the way into the Ninja Turtles. Which, yes, no, they're not really horror characters, but to me, they fit this whole entire top shelf. To me, when it comes to horror collection, you have to have the Universal Monsters. It's, to me, a must. Maybe not the Universal Monster Turtles, which you can't deny. That's one of the coolest looking Draculas you've ever seen. And yes, I am missing one figure when it comes to this collection, which is the Hunchback, which to me didn't fit the Universal Monsters. I honestly didn't even want to get him, considering I already have Raph as Frankenstein. I wish they would have made the werewolf as Leonardo. I don't know. But this collection, though, to me, any horror collection has to have these. These are the original monsters. These are the original horror characters. And one of the things I will always say, Neca knocked it out of the park with these characters and these figures. To me, they did a really great job on them. Dracula is by far one of the best. I did have some issues with one of his ankles being really stuck, but eventually I got it to wear out. But Neca did a really great job on these figures. Especially when it comes to these. I mean, look at Casey. Raph, kind of still about. I'm not a big fan of this figure. Mikey looks great as a mummy. Donnie looks great as the Invisible Man. Splinter as Van Helsing. Leo as Monster from the Black Lagoon. And then Raph as Frankenstein. And then, of course, April O'Neil as Bride of Frankenstein. I love these turtles. I mean, like I said, they're not actual monsters or horror characters, but I thought they fit. Now, what everybody comes here to see. The actual horror figures. Whether it's the good guys, the actual villains, or the monsters themselves. This is where, to me, Neca made their most money on, is these. So we'll start over here with the two clowns. The original Pennywise and the remake of Pennywise. I will say I've been wanting to replace that one with the Welcome to Derry Pennywise. This one, I've liked it, but it's kind of, I'm ready to replace it. This one, of course, is the original, and they did a great job making it look like Tim Curry. I thought it looks great. I do have a more of him in his monster form. And don't get me wrong, that does look like Bill Skarsgård, but the figure is already worn out, and a lot of the parts, to me, look odd. Now, onto one of my all-time favorite horror movies and characters, Pinhead. I have been in love with this franchise since the first movie and all the way up to the third, to all the way to the remake, which, by the way, Neca, if you can, please make a remake Pinhead, the female Pinhead. That would be nice. I'd love to add it to next to Pinhead himself, or at least the rest of the Cenobites. And who could not love Little Sam from Trick or Treat? Creepy character. And honestly, the rest of his stuff that he comes with is just really creepy and just awesome looking. And no horror shelf is ever complete without character from Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I love that mask. It looks creepy as hell. It's from the original movie. Eventually, I would love to find and grab the actual creature from Thing. But right now, I do have Kurt Russell's character. Nothing special, but he does look good. This is from Friday the 13th remake movie, which I did not know. I just love the design of it, and I love the look of it. So I just picked him as my Jason. Which, as far as I'm concerned, this is my Jason. I will gladly keep this character. Or at least this version of him. This is Ash from Evil Dead 2. I did get this off eBay. It was a bit pricey, but I did really want an Ash in my collection because I'm a massive fan of Evil Dead. I'm actually glad I found this, but he's still a really great looking Neca figure. Right next to him is one of my problem when it comes to my horror figures, my Grail. The Werewolf in London. This thing is a beast. Doesn't come with a whole lot except for swappable heads. But look at that face. Just so much detail in this figure. And of course, I do have one of the Nazi characters, which I was wondering where the heck this came from. And then I watched the actual movie, which I had never seen. So I was like, where did this come from? And then I finally watched the movie and saw. So, definitely fits. Right next to that, this one I found from Ross. This is the original Ash from the original Evil Dead movie, which I had to have. So, I added him to the collection, plus I didn't spend a whole lot of money. This is from the, I guess, so-called remake of Halloween, which I did not know. I just really like the design. I love the head sculpt on it when it comes to the mask. Very eerie. And of course, I had to have Michael Myers' sister right next to him, which they did a really great job on her. Right next to him, I do have the character from Saw wearing his pig mask. To me, this is one of the images I always remember when it comes to Saw, is him running around wearing that mask. And of course, his little buddy there, the puppet. I don't really, not a giant fan of the character, but you can't have a horror collection without him, especially modern horror. Chucky is a part of horror. He always will be, and you gotta have him if you want a horror collection. Same with Freddy himself, which this is one of the original Friday the 13th figures that came out from Neca. I've had this for a long time when I started rebuilding. He just looks really good, and I love this pose. And this is a Dracula from one of the more 1978 movies. I've never actually seen it, but I love the design, especially that face right there. Great look on it, great sculpt. And then finally, the one, the only Nosferatu. I'm hoping eventually Neca will actually do the actual newer version of him from the new movie that Bill Skarsgård was in. I would love to have an actual figure of that, but for now, I have this one. It looks really good. But there we have it. That is my horror collection. I've been building this for a while. There's a few more characters I would love to add, including the werewolf from Howling. I can talk, I swear. That's one of the other ones I would love to add because the thing looks monstrous. He looks just as detailed as the werewolf from London. But that's it for today. I hope you guys have a great weekend. Have a great day. Stay positive. Stay awesome. But above all, stay sinful.